Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. On today's video I am going to be ranking my least favourite 10 number one singles from the 1990s. This was a hard list to compile because there were so many candidates of things that I cannot abide from that particular decade. I use a website called PubMeeple to do my rankings, and as a result I've got a fairly clear idea what my top 10 is, but just a few of the things that dodged the bullet and didn't make it in. Under the Bridge by All Saints. I hate that song no matter who plays it. I don't like I'll Be Missing You by Faith Evans and Puff Daddy about the death of Biggie Smalls. And Candle in the Wind 97. Love Candle in the Wind, a great song. I'm very fond of Elton. But Candle in the Wind 97 I never want to hear again. So you've already heard the things I couldn't stand that didn't make it in. What did I consider worse than those? Well, at number 10, I have got I Can't Help Falling in Love by UB40. I Can't Help Falling in Love is a good song. Elvis sings it wonderfully. UB40 can go and stick it up where the sun don't shine. I don't dislike UB40, and when they do their own material in the 80s, they're pretty good. Stuff like King or 1 in 10. But their covers, when they get to number one with one of their own songs, then maybe I'll pay attention. Number 9, I've placed, I think it was Colour Me Bad with I Wanna Sex You Up. It's just indicative of the early 90s rubbish American boy bands that were proliferating in the charts. So that includes stuff like New Kids on the Block, Boys to Men, and all of that stuff. It's just, I was no interest in the charts at that point as a result of this kind of stuff being at the top of it. At number 8, I have placed an artist, and everything they've ever released can go in the same position, Robson and Jerome. Particularly whichever one it was that they released, I think it was Unchained Melody, that prevented one of the greatest songs of the 90s getting to the number one spot, which was Common People by Pulp. I cannot forgive Robson and Jerome for stopping Common People reaching the top. Awful stuff. And it's grannies who bought it, who liked them on Soldier Soldier. What a horrible act. At number 7, I have got Earth Song by Michael Jackson. There are many Michael Jackson fans in the world, and there are many Michael Jackson songs that are terrific, but Earth Song can take a running jump. All that nonsense about what about this and what about elephants? Oh, for crying out loud. Jarvis, we're coming back to Pulp again. Jarvis had the right idea when he wrecked that performance at the Brits that year, because it was that performance where he pretends to be Christ almost was offensive. Whether or not you're a Christian, it was awful. Horrible song. At number 6, I have got C'est La Vie by Bewitched. You know I don't like boy bands. I'm not that fond of by the numbers girl bands either. The Spice Girls are great. Bewitched is, I mean, it's an awful song as well as an awful performance, and it felt like they were cashing in on Westlife, and which are also awful, and Boyzone and that kind of stuff. At number 5, I've got a novelty song. Now, I'm not averse to a fun novelty song. I like the Chicken song from the 80s. You've already heard me say that I didn't hate Shut Up Your Face. Novelty songs can be fun for what they are. But this is Mr. Blobby. Now, if you've no idea who Mr. Blobby is, this was a mock character set up for Noel Edmonds' TV show, Noel Edmonds' House Party, where he would use this children's character to gotcha people, celebrities. And it took on a life of its own and got a number one single. And it's terrible. I mean, novelty songs are fun, but this is a terrible novelty song. It's not even amusing, but people bought it. That's what bugs me, I suppose, about a lot of these top 10 worst singles, is that people had to buy it to get it there. Who admits to buying Mr. Blobby? At number 4, I have placed Manchester United and Come On You Reds. Now, football singles can often get on people's wick, but this is the first and I believe only time that a club side has reached number 1. This reflects how popular Manchester United were as a football club at the time, and quite possibly how little decent music was actually in the charts, perhaps in 1994, when they reached number 1 with this. It is a lyrical reimagining of Status Quo's Burning Bridges, which is a pretty decent song. But I am not a Man United fan. In fact, I would be delighted, as we used to sing to the tune of Burning Bridges, "This is what we want to see, United in Division 3. I would be delighted if they ever got relegated, and it'll never happen, let's be honest. But Come On You Reds at number 4. It's the worst football single. Now on to my number 3. Now, you've heard me say that I can't forgive Robson and Jerome for stopping Pulp hitting number 1. Well, this is similar. And if this song hadn't been in the chart and got number 1, then Deacon Blues' For Bacharach and David songs EP, this is an original copy that I bought on the day of release, would have got to number 1 with the lead track, I'll Never Fall in Love Again. The thing that stopped it is a cover of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini by Bomb Ballerina and Timmy Mallet. Nothing to see here, let's move on. At number 2 is another song that prevented Pulp from reaching number 1 with Misshapes and Sorted for Ease and Whiz, and I have placed Fairground by Simply Red, their sole number 1. Simply Red have a few good songs, and as a greatest hits, it's not a bad listen, but this stopped Pulp making number 1. And I love the album Different Class. You'll see that when I do my 90s albums. And they deserved a number 1 single. It's such a good album, such a good tracks as well. And Fairground stopped it. So my irrational loathing of Fairground as a result has got that to number 2. So to number 1. There's a reason this has been ranked worst of all of the 90s number 1 singles, and we've heard some horrible stuff being mentioned. And it's because my daughter goads me by singing it because she knows I don't like it. She's got this on Just Dance on the Wii, and she really loves it. She's put it onto holiday compilation CDs, which led to the rule that they're never allowed to pick another song that has been on a previous one of our holiday compilation CDs. And it's Cotton Eye Joe by the Rednecks. I can't stand it. It gets in here. It's an earworm, and it's the kind of earworm that burrows into your brain and rots a bit of it. So, that's my top 10 worst number 1 singles of the 1990s. Is there anything in that list that you want to defend? Let me know. Comments below. Is there anything that I have missed off that you can't abide, no matter how irrational the reason? I mean, please note, I've got very little vinyl from the 90s. Don't have a go at Wet Wet Wet. Good Night Girl and Love Is All Around are both great songs. Don't have a go at Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You, just because both of those 2 songs were ubiquitous and sold bucket loads. They're good. They're just a bit overfamiliar. But do let me know in your comments what you would have picked and what I gave a pass to that maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I missed something that is awful. There were so many terrible songs from the 90s that got to number 1 that I have really only scratched the surface of Clag. So, like, subscribe, and maybe watch another one of the videos. But until next time, this is Pock and Rock saying thanks for watching. Bye bye.